So Dan, George, Pitside Talk, back in the building for game day. What are your thoughts on tonight's result? 1-0 defeat against Fulham. We're out of the Carabao Cup. Dan, firstly for you, mate, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, first of all, I thought we didn't really embarrass ourselves. I thought we did pretty well. I think straight from the off, Fulham kind of controlled the game. We looked okay when we were on the ball. I think in the midfield we looked quite good, but I think from the off, Fulham looked quite comfortable. They got their goal just before half time, and that was really the game changer, weren't it? I think that kind of, put us out of the cup. I think Fulham definitely looked like they could just go on and win the game, and that's what happened. I did think we played okay. We weren't great attacking wise. I think we could have maybe shown more in the attacking sense. I think we didn't really test their keeper. Obviously, it was difficult against a Premier League side, but I think we could have done more. I think defensively we were decent. I was a bit worried at the start with Toto and Wilson at the centre backs, but they did okay today. I think I'm not too unhappy with the way we performed, and I'm not really bothered about this cup competition. I think I want to concentrate on league games. But Downs is back, came on today, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So I think overall I'm okay with the result and the performance that we had.
Cool. George, are you in a different boat or?
I think it was a good performance. I do feel that Ipswich were a little bit lacklustre going forward, especially Ollie Hawkins. I think I counted about 5 offsides. I wasn't too impressed with him. I think it was just more hoof the ball up. If he wins it, what do we do next? It was like that sort of situation there. But I think defensively they looked better than I thought. I think I last saw them against Coventry and they looked a bit nervous at back. I think they looked much better, but they seemed to not deal well with crosses. Milivojevic was causing a lot of problems. Actually, no, Mitrovic, wrong player there. But he was causing quite a lot of problems, and he got the goal, and that was the game changer. I think once that went in, it was just like, what are we going to do now? But I feel it's just needed to be a little bit more direct. It looked just a bit nervous, but I'm disappointed they're out of the cup. Really, I like a little cup run, but I think they're more focused on the league. And you saw straight away Fulham just controlled the game from just the first second. It was theirs to lose, really. But it's a shame they're out. But less games to play now, so we can focus on the league again.
Well, David, thank you very much for joining me once again. Game day, Fulham. We've just been knocked out of the Carabao Cup, 1-0 defeat at Portman Road. We were talking off air, but now we're here live. Your thoughts on that result?
Well, initially, you owe me a pint because the only reason I carried on watching that complete shite was because I knew it was coming on here and had to do it. Yeah. I thought we were seeing an end to rotation. 7 changes? That's not an end to rotation. Those players aren't injured. They managed to play off the bench. If Norwood needs minutes to get himself up to speed, start him. If Downs is there on the bench and you're changing the midfield round and you've taken Bishop out, start Downs because he's the best midfielder there and he showed it when he came on. He's the only one who provided anything, and for me, Downs is our man of the match. But no, I mean, the whole game, utter bollocks. Off air, we did do quite a lot of swearing, and there's a lot, and I will try and constrain it because that was a complete load of toss from start to finish. Mick Mills on the commentary was saying about how impressive it was. No, it wasn't. We didn't press. We didn't close them down. We conceded 2/3 of the pitch to them. Well, okay. As I said before, Leicester managed to win a title on the basis of not having possession and catching people on the break. But catching people on the break involves having players who are prepared to get upfield quickly, transferring defence into attack quickly. We didn't do that. We get hold of the ball. Oh, tip, tap, tip across midfield until somebody makes a cock up and it's back up the other way again. Kenlock and Nolan went out for their goal, went out to cut the cross out and stood 10 yards away going, oh, this will scare them. Enciala then decides the best person to mark isn't Mitrovic, who's a proper striker. No, I'm going to mark Wilson. And then Donathian comes up behind him and goes, boo. What sort of sodding defence is that? Donathian keeps getting pulled out of position. He kept getting pulled far too close to Enciala. Enciala on 2 or 3 occasions makes random strolls into midfield, which he did against Bristol Rovers as well. Positional sense of a wet fart. Kenlock, just no. Ran around a lot, which is about the best you can say of it. Hughes obviously couldn't be asked. Dobra didn't do his chances any good at all. I have to say, heralded, yes, great. Twitter was full of he's great in the side, but I mean, but we did that thing which having a lone striker always seems to do. It did it under Mick, and I've hated it for years. It's worked the last couple of games, but it went to being a 4-1-4-1, and the four were down here somewhere, and Hawkins was doing his own thing, being offside over there somewhere. It was no. Our performance was not good. We didn't. If you concede the space, you've got to catch them on the break, and you've got to hit them hard and quickly. We didn't do it. If you're not going to concede the space, you've got to contest things. You've got to try and get the ball back high up the pitch, and you've got to press. We didn't press at all. And I thought that we were we overawed by it, or was it just crap tactics? I'm inclined to think crap tactics personally. To go with a crap team selection. Rotation is supposed to have gone. What if that was? If we'd done really well tonight, would that side have started on Saturday? It wouldn't. You know it wouldn't, because he would suddenly have found a place for Chambers. He would have found a place for Bishop again. He would have done all that. So this is rotation back again. And you can't tell me that it's just because, it's the cup, we don't care. No, he said, we care about competitions, we're going to try and win. And if you play well, you stay in the side. He's contradicted that and gone completely back on his word tonight. And so all my sort of, I'll give him some time. Now, 80% of that is gone now. He's had his chance. If he does any more rotation, then nearly swore. And equally, Fulham did everything that I hate in modern football. It's why I can't stand the Premier League. Just fannying around with the ball. And there's one stage, and as I said to you before, Chelsea did it a few years ago, and I just had a meltdown on the TV screen at the time. Oscar says, "No, that's modern football." Yeah, and it's crap. Standing there at the back with the ball at your feet, having a look around, you could have had a bloody picnic in the length of time it takes him to pick out a pass. If we were Rotherham, or if we had Warnock in charge or something like that, you've had 3 6-foot hairy-ass blokes going challenging him. Because you can't stand there for 5 minutes with the foot on the ball thinking, where am I going to pick a sodding pass out from? No, Walk wouldn't have allowed it. A decent striker wouldn't have allowed it. Norwood wouldn't have allowed it. And it didn't happen when Norwood came on. We looked like we had a chance at that end when Downs came on. It was head and shoulders. He had drive. He bit into tackles. We started to press. Norwood started to close their defenders down. He was getting on their shoulder. He was getting in their faces. And the same, Edwards went to the left, and suddenly we had a little bit of drive and threat there. But 3 players in the whole 90 minutes, right at the end, doesn't make a team. I'm majorly pissed off with that performance. And it started before it with Lambert's team selection, and nothing changed my mind in that. There you go. Hopefully be better and happier on Saturday, but spitting.
So, Phil, thank you very much for joining me here on game day. Town just been beaten by Fulham, Premier League Fulham in the Carabao Cup, second round, 1-0. What's your thoughts on that defeat, my friend?
I mean, you set out to win every game. That's why we play the game. That's why we as fans watch the games, because you always want to see your team do well. That said, it doesn't take a genius to work out that we've got bigger fish to fry this season. So, not distraught that we've lost. I did have a cheeky bet on Fulham to keep a clean sheet as well. So that
we'll win. Yeah.
But I thought we actually played okay. In that we played with a bit of spirit. I thought there's a determination and commitment from the team. The stats were showing up on the game about the possession stats, and I think Fulham had something like 2/3 of possession to our 1/3 or thereabouts. But when we got the ball, we tried to use it well. We tried to keep hold of the ball. We were trying to do the right things. I suppose the criticism you'd have is we didn't have an awful lot of a cutting edge. We never really threatened their goal. We had a couple of shots that was pretty high, wide, and handsome, and not really a threat. We had the chance in the first half where Hawkins slid in, couldn't get a clean connection, and the defender sort of put him under pressure, and he ended up poking it wide, stabbing it wide. And then the one right at the end where Guion Edwards tried to use the outside of his foot rather than the inside. And I think it might have gone in, but the keeper made a fairly comfortable save. So, whereas if you look at Fulham, they looked like a team full of good footballers. They were in control, they were comfortable, they were moving the ball well. I think it was Robinson down there, left, our right, was a threat all night. The lad in midfield, whose name I've forgotten, and I tried to make a point of remembering it. He was pretty decent as well. So they were in control of the game, and they did have chances where our keeper Cornell made 2 or 3 very good saves. I think he tipped a few over. There was one double save soon after half time, which probably had an air of good fortune about it, but he made the save nonetheless. So yeah, if anything, Fulham looked more likely to get a second than we did an equaliser. And I think it looked like what it was, a Premier League side full of good footballers playing against a more limited side from 2 divisions below, who played with spirit and endeavour and trying to do the right things, but ultimately just weren't as good.
Well, Thomas, Mr. Game Day, thanks once again for joining me. Town are at the Carabao Cup. What's your overall thoughts on that defeat?
I'm not too bothered, really. It's only a cup game. It's a shame, you never like to see a team lose, but at the same time, the league is the most important thing this year. So that's one less game we haven't got to worry about now. The Sheffield Wednesday game. So that's, it's, like I say, it's a shame to lose, but it happens. I think in terms of the team, it's rotation again, which is a bit worrying, but it's good to see that he's sticking to a system now. And because that was some of the problem was last season, he was rotating, but it was also he had no system in place. Whereas now it looks like we've got a system and we're trying to make it work, and we're bringing different players in to keep it like going. Let's say. So that's one positive for me. A bit worried about how we conceded. Nolan and Kenlock just letting the ball cross in, and then the free header. No, I don't know what Enciala was doing. I don't know what Donation was doing, but to give a free header like that, I know it's Mitrovic, and he's class. He's much, but it costs more than our team, I believe. So it's something you can't moan too much, but at the same time, our defending needs to be better than that. And I've been saying that since the season started. Our defending does look a bit dodgy at times. And we defended well today for most of the game, but some of the time it just didn't work out. And then obviously could have been 2-0 down, but Cornell making a double save, which is good to see. Good to see Flynn on. Interesting to see what's going to happen there now with him coming on, because obviously if he goes somewhere, he'll be cup tied. So it makes you wonder whether he is actually going anywhere now, whether he'll be our player for the rest of the season. Because obviously, if he goes to Palace, doesn't go out on loan, then he's obviously going to. Those have been the games that have played in if he didn't make the first team. So that's an interesting one. Bit worrying about how many offsides we were given against us. Hawkins doesn't seem to know when to make a run, but maybe the offside rule, the Fulham were playing the offside line, which is a little bit worrying. But then again, it happens. The shirt wasn't a good omen, turned out. But no, it's just a cup game, nothing to worry about really. It's the league. We're on to Saturday now. See what happens there. And fingers crossed for that, really.
So there you have it, the end of game day. Thank you all for watching. Thank you everybody who got involved. But one more thing before I leave. I want to say a big thank you from Liam from Crew for letting me basically watch the game at his gaff, as you say. But Liam, what's your thoughts on that result, my friend?
Not much to write home about. Out of the cup, it's not a big priority. And to be fair, I don't really care. League One is all that matters this season. Cup run would just be a problem, I think, further on. This is 1 year, I think, that we can all agree that a cup run is something that we don't really need. So on to Saturday, keep the league form going, and thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks for the pizza, ice cream and garlic bread. That was beautiful. But anyway, guys, see you later.